mainly in Japan. My friend, Hunting Sai, at the time he was in Fukuda, discovered few stable quantitative crystals. He grew them. He created a diffraction pattern. Also, friends in France did the same. And he sent me the diffraction pattern that looks like this. It's an X-ray diffraction pattern. Flower pattern. Beautiful flower pattern. 5 rotations in it. 3-fold, 2-fold. The year was 1987 by now. It's 3 years after publication. And I went to Australia to participate in the meeting of the International Journal of Crystallography in Perth, Australia. Perth is on the west side of Australia. And I presented the talk. And when I showed this picture, people said, okay, Danny, now you're talking. Now we have an X-ray diffraction pattern. Yes. Now we have something to work with. The International Journal of Crystallography created a group that had the created a new definition for a crystal, and that's the definition I showed you in the beginning of my talk. So this was the end of this, and now you think, okay, the International Journal of Crystallography agrees, who will object? Not so fast, because then there was Professor Linus Pauling. Now, Professor Linus Pauling was undoubtedly the greatest chemist in the United States of the 20th century. There's no question about it. He wrote a book, he wrote a paper, he explained, he taught, he was an amazing guy, really. He was the godfather of the American Chemical Society, he was the head of the American Chemical Society. Fantastic. The only difference between Linus Pauling and God is that God doesn't think that he's Linus Pauling. He thought he understood everything better than anybody else. Okay? He didn't. Nobody does understand everything better than anybody. Nobody else. We are human beings. He objected quantum periodicity vehemently, and he was a flamboyant figure. Oh yes. He stood on stages fighting quantum periodicity and coming up with models. First he said that quantum periodic materials are twins in periodic crystals. I knew from day one they were not. I knew it. I was an electron microscopist. I was a very experienced electron microscopist. I was not. And then he said, okay, let's build structure. If you diffract from this structure, you have the same diffraction pattern. So he came up with models. He was hiding this under something like this. And wow, here is the model. You diffract this model, that's what you get. In 1 week, somebody from India then said, no, Professor Pauling, you're mistaken. It's too slow, but it's not adequate. So okay, no problem. Here's a larger model. And a larger model. And a larger model. Let me tell you something. So you understand his basic mistake. He tried to reach irrational numbers by taking two numbers and dividing by each other. This is what he did. And it will never work. It becomes closer and closer and closer. Let's say somebody says, okay, the ratio of the circumference of the circle divided by the diameter is a rational number. Oh, really? How can you prove it? Well, here I draw a circle, and I draw the diameter, I measure the circumference, and divide by this. Voila, rational number. You say, well, yes, nice, it's close to pi. It's not really pi. So no problem. Here's a larger one. And a larger one. You can get closer and closer to pi, but you can never reach pi by dividing two numbers. And this is what he was doing. It was a fundamental mistake. Okay, so the fight continued from 1984 to 1984. Then it was over because Linus Pauling died. Now, that's not funny when people die. I'll have to explain if you want. Okay, so you understand his basic mistake. I met Linus Pauling twice. Once in a conference, we had dinner together, and 100 people looked to see the fish. There were no fish. We were very polite to each other. We agreed about vitamin C. We agreed about everything inside except what is periodic material. And then later on, I came to visit his home in Palo Alto, California. He had there the Linus Pauling Research Institute, which was really a nice place with all the books that have been translated, all these languages. It was a shrine for Linus Pauling. And I gave a talk to one person. It was the smallest audience I ever had. One person. 1 hour talk. There were slides there. Everybody knows what slides? Yeah, okay. Slides in a cassette. You could hold out. Anyway, so I gave a talk, and he was listening for 1 hour very carefully. And then at the end of it, he said, okay, Dr. Schleppmann, I don't know how to do that. I said, you know, Professor Pauling, if you ever agree with me, don't keep it a secret. And so, we had a lot of correspondence between us. He and his followers kept the correspondence, and you can read the correspondence somewhere on the internet. So that was the end of that. Alright, now I want to mention a few names that may stand out for confusion. You know about Percy Penrose, you know about Ellen MacKay. They are the tiling people. Okay, and Ellen MacKay is the reciprocal face of the Ellen MacKay. Ilan Levy, John Kahn wrote the papers with me. Ilan Levy was the first. John Levine and Paul Steinhardt. John Levine was a student of Paul Steinhardt. And they came up with a mathematical model based on Roger Penrose's styles, three-dimensional styles, that could explain the diffraction pattern and everything else. Ilan Levy model was the physical model of Professor Hitler joining in space, and their model was a mathematical, idealistic model. Okay, so while before all there was Hitler in periodicity, quantity, now we know that order can be either periodic and it can be quasi-periodic. And quasi-periodicity, as shown, I want to tell you, is a fundamental phenomenon in nature. It's not just a few quasi-periodic materials that appear here and there. So now I want to let you ask questions, but I will ask the first question, and I will also answer that question. Okay, then you can answer. My question is very obvious. Why is it that quasi-periodic materials were not discovered before 1982? 70 years of crystallography, thousands of eminent crystallographers around the world didn't find quasi-periodic material. Why? Why is it we that did find it? I will give you the questions and then the answer. Is it because they're very rare? So there are only very few and I have the chance to stumble upon one of them? Or maybe they're not stable, you touch them, they disintegrate, so people could not get a chance to study them. Or are they difficult to make? And I with my magic finger made one. Or are they made of rare elements? So is it indium, gadolinium, and a touch of things? What is the reason that they were not discovered for so long? So how are they rare? Quasi-periodic materials are not rare, there are hundreds of them. Here is a small partial based on aluminum. So you find them in aluminum, copper, aluminum, chromium, iron, like, don't leave. There are hundreds of them. Some are rare, some are because some of them are not what they did. Okay, are they not stable? Many are not stable and transform to periodic structure at high temperature. But you see quasi-periodic materials, you see, right? Temperature is not stable, and here are a few examples, and these are not all of the examples. Most of them, by the way, were discovered by Einstein Tsai, who is now in Tohoku University, in Sendai, Japan, but others were discovered by other people, and so many of them are also stable, some of them aren't. So some of this is nice. Are they difficult to make? Not at all. They're very, very easy to make. You can make them by casting, by recrystallification, by single crystal growth, by electrical deposition, by CDT, by PVD. Any technology to manufacture metallic alloys can be used to make quasi-periodic. It is very easy to do. That's the story. Fact is that when I got into the paper, 2 days later, people came up and said, we have it here. Very easy to do. So this is another reason that we're not discovered before. Are they made of rare elements? No, not at all. They're made of iron and aluminum and chromium and copper and titanium, and millions of tons of these elements are used every year. It's very common, not rare elements at all. So why is it that quasi-periodic materials were never discovered before 1982? This was the question, I will give you the answer, my answer. Now it becomes subjective. Up to now everything was fact. Now it's subjective. Number one, transmission electron microscopy. Quasi-periodic materials had to be discovered by transmission electron microscopy because they were very small. Once you made them, the crystals were very small. If you took a diffraction pattern, SIG, also, from a material that you prepared, you will get rings. Because the higher the crystal, you get rings in the diffraction, and if you have rings, you do not know anything about the rotation and symmetry. And the rotation and symmetry was key to understanding the structure. So it has to be done by TEM. So I look at RISE and you say, okay, big deal, TEM. You know how many thousands of people are working on TEM around the world? Why you? Because driving the TEM is not enough to do good science on the TEM. And most of the scientists around the world, including many of you, who do electron microscopy, maybe know how to manipulate the joystick or whatever you use here, but they do not know electron microscopy. Learning how to do contrast analysis in electron microscope, you have to dedicate yourself to electron microscopy. You have to know the theory to the extent that you can teach a class in electron microscopy, and I got many classes in electron microscopy, and you have to know contrast analysis very, very well. And then you are an electron microscopist. And you know, I can tell you that in my department, on material science, we are pioneers in electron microscopy in Israel. And over the years, we have hundreds of students who use our electron microscopy. You know how many electron microscopists we have produced? Maybe 15 in 40 years. One every 2 years. And they are doing electron microscopy around the world and in different laboratories. Very few become experts in electron microscopy. You have to be an expert in electron microscopy to make a discovery. You have to know what is possible. You have to be yourself. You have to have the strength to check yourself several times before you start talking. But when you talk, you know that you're right. When Linus Pauling was against Danny Chestnut, he was the most eminent chemist in the world, maybe, but I was an expert in electron microscopy and he was not. And that was it. Here, you have to be a professional, as I just mentioned. Professional electron microscopy. Very few of them in the world. You have to have tenacity. Hey, when people around you say, Danny, I mean, you know, it's cannot happen, you may lose interest by saying, okay guys, this is too complicated and I have my career, I don't. You have to have tenacity. Here's lesson number 2 to the young people. When you see something different in your studies, something that doesn't look right, don't let it go. Be like a Rottweiler dog. You bite, you don't let go. Until you find out what it is. In most cases, it will be an artifact. In many cases, somebody else discovered it 45 years ago. But in some cases, you have made a discovery which will create your future. So don't let go. Let me give an example of somebody, a bright scientist, young at the time, not anymore, whom I know from Europe. He saw my material before me, years before me. He saw the anti-fraction pattern, everything, while doing his PhD. He was about 5 years older than I. How do I know it? Because the professor told me that. And later on I met him. The professor said, one day I go through the slides, remember the last slide that my student did? I pull one, you're the fraction pattern. I look at the date, years before done by the student. I call my student. Hello student, how is it? Thank you, professor. I'm fine, how are you? Say, said the professor, do you know that you saw Danny Chapman, the fraction pattern before you? Said the student, oh professor, of course I know. Said the professor, why didn't you tell me? Said the student, you know professor, did I told you? You would want me to stay for 2 more years on my PhD? Like a Rottweiler dog, you find something, you don't let go. This is your future, maybe. Alright? Okay. Tenacity. You live in yourself. It is called self-efficacy. Of the psychologist. Believing yourself means saying to yourself, I am a professional in something. And this is message number 6 to you, young people. If you want to succeed in science and continue to be scientist, find something that you like and try to become number 1 in the blend. And it is easy to do nowadays because information is available everywhere. You can talk to professors freely. Okay, it's not the old system. You knock on the door, talk to a professor, find the information you want, become expert in something. And I promise you, if you have broad knowledge of science, you have to know something about material science, about biology, you have to know enough mathematics, you have to know about thermodynamics, you have to know about everything. But develop one peak of expertise. And if you have these two, I promise you, you'll have a wonderful career in science. You're living in yourself. And number 5 is last, resilience. I can tell you that my promotions were delayed. The chair of my department hated me. Why would anybody hate that? But he did. When I was up for promotion, he went to visit Linus Pauling for the sole purpose so that Linus Pauling will object my promotion. And he wrote to the president of the Technion, how can you promote the person that Linus Pauling, the sun in sky, is rejecting his science? How can you promote a person like this? Aha. If the Technion has doubts, they promoted me right away after this letter because they knew the professor. Okay, so this is resilience. To finalize, here's a nice picture taken by Anton Fry, I call it. And these are quasi-periodic crystals of the aluminum manganese system. And look here, you can see 5-fold rotation symmetry, and 5 again, and you see 3-fold, and you see 2-fold. Beautiful. And he painted it artificially. It is kind of like, okay. He painted it artificially rose to look like a cherry blossom in Japan, okay, the day prior to now. Okay, thank you very much.
Synthetic rubbers like polyurethane. It's more durable and less expensive than earlier isocone coatings, and isolates up with only the force of gravity or let freeze.
To our knowledge, we've not found any other coating that can survive these kinds of challenges.
Is it Mike okay? All right. So I'm glad to be here. I came 1,000 miles to see you. I've been doing engineering for over 40 years, and at this point in my career, I only have one passion, and it's you. I love talking to students. I've seen everything else, so I'm glad to be here. That's the first thing. I'm not a particular fan of standing up in front of hundreds of people and maybe making a fool out of myself. So thank you for this opportunity, Dan, and I am going to reciprocate one day. My background in history is in smart structures, using smart materials and combining them with structures for control. But I went through a career crisis about a year ago and decided I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something different. And I didn't know what that difference was, but I think I do now. And so this is going to be a different kind of seminar, okay? I'm going to bounce some thoughts off of you on what I'd like to be involved with in the future. It's a notional concept. It's an idea. And I need to get your feedback on what do you think about it, okay? So it's not my expertise. It involves human-robot interaction. And I'm going to bounce my idea off of you. Before I do, I want to request that the experts in the audience, such as this professor, ask no questions during my presentation. The general area is the area of autonomy. And so I have this slide up here. And that's because You know, in the course of the career, there are buzzwords that come up where the government says, oh, this year is optical computing. Everybody rushes over to optical computing. And then they say, oh, now it's morphing. And everybody rushes over to morphing. And so now it's autonomy. What does that mean? You can ask 5 autonomy experts and you'll get 6 answers. And so they ask me, what is this, an untrouched Jim? It's about as confusing. This is how confusing the word autonomy is to me. Is it control? Is it intelligent? Is it artificial intelligence? I mean, what is it? Dan, what is autonomy? I came to find out. So, this is my idea, okay? And it's my idea, and I'm entitled to give you my perspective on it, all right? And I want to hear back from you. About 5 years ago, there was an earthquake on the East Coast. It shut down roads. It shut down cellular communications. The local fire department and first responders went into a bit of a panic because we have a nuclear power plant here. It's called Surrey Nuclear Power Plant. And they wanted to know if anything had cracked and if there was a hazmat release. But they couldn't get to it. Because the roads were shut down, they couldn't even use cell phones. And so the fire chief in my area vowed to never let that happen again. And he went and talked to the experts. Okay, Dan, you know how we experts are. The experts said, well, you need an unmanned aerial vehicle. Now, do I say class or how do I address this audience? Do I say class? Sure. Folks, 5 years ago, there were no drones. There were UAVs. They generally were military and very costly. In the military, they don't operate drones with one pilot. Globalhawk, I think, takes 172 people to fly one Globalhawk on one mission. So when he inquired, they said, oh, you need something called a Shadow. It's $1 million. And don't worry, the local National Guard unit will help you fly it. And so frustrated, he didn't know what to do. And somebody said, well, you know, there's this mad scientist down the way, and he has some crazy ideas, and you might want to talk to him. So here we go. He comes to me. He says, I'm a first responder. I don't want to learn to fly anything. I want to do my first response job. Oh, and by the way, I want to pay for the vehicle with this credit card here. And those were our rules. We ended up interviewing first responders all over the country. We ended up learning their concept of operation. And from that, we came up with the idea that first responders work well with service dogs. And service dogs work well with first responders. It's this crazy symbiotic relationship between the two of them. If you've ever seen, sometimes commands and words are not necessary. In the performance of a mission, one takes over and the other one stands fast. The other takes over and the other one stands fast. And then sometimes they do it simultaneously. It's a thing of beauty. And so I wanted to teach a drone to be a service canine. Don't laugh at me. And so I came up with this idea of the aerial canine. And we're going to talk about that. Turns out it's not a new idea. This is what they call an ecological approach to small UAVs for first responders. You know, if you think about these drones that are supposed to be working with humans as mechanical agents, just like a dog, you know, a dog has sensors we don't have. And so the team, the dog has assets that extend our capabilities. You know, smell, hearing. But then a dog has a nose that's 42 times more sensitive than our own. And so when I started thinking about that, because that's exactly what I want a drone to do, extend the capabilities of first responders in real time. I realized that my dog that sleeps around on the couch all the time and gets my wife crazy is really a biological robot. And so I started to try to develop, listen to me, a control architecture that mimics that. You know, as soon as I say a control architecture, that's a different story. You know, it's one thing to get up here and espouse with words that you want to do this, but as soon as you say a control architecture, well, that has to be rigorous. That has to involve our canonical state-space form. It has to please people that want to do LQG, LTR, H infinity, MOUSE. I mean, it's got to be rigorous. And so that's where we begin. Ethology is the scientific study of animal behavior. And my view, and I need your feedback, is to mimic the relationship between a human and an animal, a human and a service dog, in the performance of first responder conduct. And I'm particularly interested in large-scale disasters. There's been a lot of them lately. Especially on Aleppo. That's kind of a disaster. You got kids buried under rubble over vast distances. And you got first responders and all that chaos and mess trying to get the people in minimum time and save lives. I want to build a drone that can assist those first responders on that path. It does a couple of things. It makes fundamental contributions to control. It makes me feel like my life as an engineer is worth it. It's doing something. It's servicing the community. And so I'm interested in looking at this blend between humans and animals. Think about it as this blend between a canine and a human. It's a dance. You know, my wife is listening to this, so I'll probably get in trouble when I get back, but we took ballroom dancing lessons. And I learned one person leads and the other follows. It's a blending to achieve a certain mission. And I'm interested in taking a look at this model for human-robot interaction. Motivation. It's my aerial canine, my first responders. One, they're used to working effectively with canine service animals. Maryland has a $30 million a year first responder training unit. And so we interviewed the director and the people there. I need a control architecture because I need here is that my drone now can be an effective member of a human-robot team and can reduce the workload, can protect the first responder team by guiding them safely and efficiently to targets of interest. This team, in a wide area disaster scenario, is going to work together to collect data, send it to the brigade chief for improved situational awareness, and then help the humans carry out the task of search and rescue to save lives. I found out that DOD has search and rescue missions as well as humans. There are a couple of scenarios that I'm going to show you. You've got 4 or 5 first responder teams spread over large areas. You've got targets of interest that need to be identified and characterized, and then you need to guide those teams efficiently to the targets. That's a type of path planning mission. What are your targets of interest? Humans, fires, damaged structures. You don't want to guide your team through hazardous materials, especially if there's been chemical agents used or released. Sludge. And so these are the targets of interest. Your aerial canine can be equipped with ears, eyes, nose, and a mouth. Not to bite, but to bark, okay? To alert. And so I went through and said, okay, I want to equip my aerial canine with these abilities to identify targets of interest. Can I detect those? And yes, there are different kinds of sensors that I can use on a drone to allow me to conduct this mission and detect these things. So now, this is the CONOPS of a first responder team. They actually have a CONOPS manual. It's about that thick. And it tells you in great detail when you arrive on a scene, a large area disaster scene, here's what you do. One of the first things they do is something called size up. Size up. And it involves all these things. So really, I'm just setting the scene for what my aerial canine needs to do. Once I get all that, I need to come up with some kind of control architecture that creates this partnership, this blending. I love this picture, don't you? Between my robot and my human. Here is the spectrum of interactions that I can have. And I'm not going to read a slide. I don't believe in doing that. But throughout the conduct of the CONOPS, there'll be times when I will want the robot to, on its own, do things. There'll be times when I want the human to, on its own, do things, execute the CONOPS. There'll be times when the robot will ask the human to do things it can't do, and vice versa. And then there's this whole mixture of shared, traded, supervising, fully autonomous reactions. I need a control architecture, one control architecture that allows me to capture all that. That's almost impossible, based on what we know about canonical state space, right? No, you don't have to, she's holding her arms like, I don't want to hear none of this. And so, based on that spectrum of shared control, I can pull out a command structure that I need to address. I might need to generate targets of interest. I might need to set safe parameters. I might want to guide a team from here to there in the shortest time. All right? I might want to track an effluent or map a scene. But this is my command structure, and I need to find a way for me and this dog to get along and do this thing seamlessly and efficiently. And so here's the architecture. It's called H-mode control. Now, I would love it if the H stood for hover mode control, but it doesn't. This was developed by 2 guys at NASA, Ken Goodrich and Dave Flemish. Dave Flemish visited NASA as a postdoc, and he and Ken Goodrich came up with this architecture, and it's called H-mode because it mimics a horse and a rider. Now listen to this. So, here's the problem. You have this horse. She knows that every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, you bring her out to the stable and y'all get together, and you usually go down to the farm by that oak tree over on the right. She knows that. She has enough onboard intelligence and memory to do that. So you don't drive or steer a horse. You get on the horse. You go into a loose reins mode. And what do? You do this. And you're off. You're on your way to the farm by the oak tree on the right. As you're going, if she encounters an obstacle like a hedge or something that she's familiar with, she negotiates it. You don't need to do anything. There's enough onboard memory to negotiate obstacles. As you're moving along, if she comes to a fork in the road, she'll stop. What do? You go into a tight lead mode and you do this. And she goes. On down, conducting the mission to go by that old oak tree down by the farm. And so here's a formal control architecture called H-mode control that allows for that, okay? Situational awareness, real-time sensing, aware of its environment, and inner loop for trajectory control. This is all based on a state space formulation. There is a human-robot interaction manager. Look, there's even a haptic interface, because with a horse, you can tell things, or you can give signals haptically. I never owned a horse, but I think a horse can give you signals, right? They make noises. They put ears up. They switch tails. I don't know. But that's all in here. And then there's this blender that I'm really interested in that somehow has algorithms to magically and seamlessly blend our abilities. So that what I do best, I can do when it requires it. What it does best, it can do when it requires it. And then it'll blend the two when needed. So that as a team, we're much more effective. It has a tight leash mode, because now instead of horse mode, I'm going to make it an aerial canine. I'm going to make it a dog. And so I have a tight leash mode that I need to worry about, and I have a loose leash mode. I need to worry about the blender. I need to worry about a trajectory generator for path planning. I need to do all this in the context of first responder in a large-scale disaster area. I love these diagrams. I'm going to talk to you about a tight leash and a loose leash mode. And I'm going to talk to you about what my idea of it is. I arrive on a disaster scene. This is my idea of a building that's got a little fire burning. These are first responder teams. And I'm beginning to execute my mission scenario. So we start from home. We lay down a grid. We have coordinates for everything on there. And then we issue a command. I can actually lay down an impedance mapping. It's like a blanket. Visually, picture a blanket laying over all the obstacles. And so as you approach an obstacle, an impedance map over the obstacle creates, as you get closer and closer, it creates an impedance that makes it harder and harder. And you can use that to avoid obstacles. I can then have a path planning algorithm that allows me, once the targets of interest are identified by the human, to visit those targets. I can do it in minimum time. I can do it with minimum energy, etc. In this mode, I can begin to organize the scene and lay things up. I can execute some dog commands. I can test a building, and I can issue the command search. And what will happen is on my situational awareness screen, when I touch the building, a circle appears. And when I say search, the dog knows to go over to the building, point the camera at the center of the circle, and just traverse the circle. So I get a really good picture of what's going on. I can do it around Dan. I can do it around fires. And then my team can begin to move. I can issue commands like track team 1. I can issue commands. I can turn commands over to different teams. They can issue commands like come, here, stay. I can issue a survey command, which we just talked about. And I might have a drone heal to team 2. Stand by. And so the aerial canine analogy actually makes sense in this thing. I can cover all those commands that I showed you in the spectrum this way. And so I set this impedance map over the targets. Think of it as a sort of a little Gaussian bowl that I can put over things. And as I approach them, my algorithms generate resistance, and so I want to go around them and avoid them. I can invert that, and over targets like humans, I can invert that bowl, impedance bowl, and the resistance gets less and less as I move toward the target. And what it'll do is as the drone approaches Dan, laying on the ground, it will center itself over. So it's like a source and a sink. I can put sources around the building, so you can do obstacle avoidance. I can put sinks over humans and targets of interest, and it'll pull them to it, and it'll stare at them. And so my potential field maps can be excellent at avoiding targets and centering myself on targets of interest. My impedance maps can mimic self-preservation. I can put them over fire, and no matter how hard you push on the stick, it's not going near that fire. It'll just stand off. I can map out hazmat zones using my drone and a grid search and a survey. My point is, in this mode, and with a simple bunch of canine commands, look what I've done. Of course, we're interested in autonomy, and so I can go into a loose leash mode. And in that mode, I turn everything over to the dog. And I actually take commands from the dog. And so I can talk about that mode too, because in my aerial canine architecture, there was a tight leash mode where I actually give commands, and I kind of walk you through that. And then there's a loose leash mode where I'm spread out over a 20-mile area, and I don't know what to do. I'm waiting for this dog to do the survey and issue me some commands. And so we're going to talk a little bit about about the aerial canine full autonomy controlling itself and issuing commands to me. This is based on a real-life disaster area that happened in 2005. Destruction over 30,000 square miles, hundreds of thousands of people probably damaged, injured, or killed. And so, large-scale disaster and multiple response teams. I'm actually going to run a simulation that has, I think it's 5 response teams and 4 targets spread over a huge area. And you want the aerial canine to, on its own, survey, identify targets, and guide teams. And you want it to do it quickly. You can't take all day, because the person will die. You can't have them climbing up mountains and jumping down hills, because they will die. And so, efficiency, time, and something called entropy is important. It's what you need to know. At this point, when you go fully autonomous, you don't have any metrics. We don't have any metrics today to quantify how well we are doing. We don't have any rigorous methods to assess whether